Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Shri Gaur Sundar Bhagavan ki jai. Hare Krishna. Can I hear a Hare Krishna from all of you? Please unmute.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, that's a lot of energy when everyone says Hare Krishna. Okay, so let's start. Yeah, my voice is okay now. Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Co-host.
Mataji.
Okay, screen is visible, na? Okay. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshulimiddhamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhudale Srimade Bhaktivedanta Swamini Dinamini Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So yesterday we just had an introduction, right? So anyone remember? We'll have a quick recap. So this is the second chapter, contents of Gita summarized. Okay, it's an overview. Now, so what was the 5 reasons why Arjuna was not ready to fight? Why did he lament? You can raise your hand. You can put in the chat too. Yes. Nikhil, Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Yes, Nikhil. Hina, who's raised your hands? Yes.
Compassion, compassion, indecision, family tradition, and
anything else? Sin. Yes. So these were the, yes, I'm getting nice answers in the chat too. Compassion, no enjoyment, sin, family traditions will be lost, and indecision. Okay, so now Krishna starts speaking in this chapter. Now, before that, we should know there are 3 stages of God realization. Okay, so when someone asks you who is God or what is God, then some people say it's light, some say it's love. No, there are different stages to understand. Like there is sunlight. Okay, it's compared to the sun, I'll tell you. So first is the Brahman. Brahmedi, Paramatmedi, Bhagavanedi, Shabdite. Brahman is the light, the effulgence that's coming from the Lord's body. So some people think that's God and they meditate on that Brahman, the impersonal form. Yes, Lord has an impersonal form, but then that is not the ultimate form. Okay, there are different, see, like a hero role in different films. It doesn't mean that actor is like that. No, he's taking that role. So Lord has different stages, like Brahman, yes, the light aspect, the impersonal feature. Then the Paramatma, the localized feature. He's a 400 Paramatma in our heart. And the Bhagavan concept, which is the highest concept, that the Lord is a supreme personality. He's a person, right? So he has a form. In Bible, it says man is made out of the image of God. So doesn't God has a form? Yes. And Prabhupada is like, someone asked Prabhupada, can you show me God? And Prabhupada showed the sun and told, see, that's the eyes of this God, because Krishna says, Prabhasmi Shashi Suryayo, I am the light of sun and moon. He see that is his eyes. So everyone is like, okay, we saw the eyes of the Lord. What about his hands and legs? Why can't we see his face, the form of the Lord? And Prabhupada said, you're not qualified. We are not qualified to see. Like in a dark room, when you see a cat, what will you see first? Its eyes. No, doesn't mean the cat doesn't have a tail and legs and hands. It has, but we are in darkness. We can't see. Same way, we are all in darkness of ignorance. So we can't appreciate God. We can't see him. So, but then this is compared to a sun. So you can see here, when you go to a sun planet, first is the sunlight, right? The effulgence coming. So that is compared to the Brahman, the light that is coming. Then there is a sun planet. Okay, then we need to go and we have to visit the sun planet. There's a localized part, and in that sun planet, there's a sun god, right? There's the personality. So a person is there. Same way, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So this is a quiz question. How is this compared to? It's the sun. Now, when you say Bhagavan, he has all the 6 opulence. You've seen in Bhagavad-Gita, it is Sri Arjuna Uvaja, Sanjaya Uvaja, Dhritarashtra Uvaja. Instead, it can be Sri Krishna Uvaja, but instead of Krishna Uvaja, it is Bhagavan Uvaja. Why? Because he is Swayam Bhagavan. Krishna is to Bhagavan Swayam. Bhagavan, Bhagyavan. Who's Bhagyavan? Anyone knows? Who's Dhanavan? Who's Bhagyavan? Whom do you call someone Bhagyavan? Oh, you're very Bhagyavan, huh?
Hare
Like
Krishna.
something Bhagyashali.
Hare Krishna,
Yes.
Mataji. Bhagyavan is somebody who is lucky, who has a good fate, and
yes.
Balwan is somebody who has good strength. And
Balavan is strength. What about, yes. So Dhanavan, what is Dhanavan?
who has a lot of money.
Yes, rich, very good. So that is only one quality, right? Who has a lot of money. That person who's very rich may not be the most beautiful. The person who's more beautiful or handsome may not be in good in knowledge. But the Lord has all these opulence. Aishwaryasya, Yashasasya, Veerasya, everything together. Beauty. Krishna, when you see him, it is said, Kantarpakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Shopam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Thousands of cupids get attracted to the Lord's beauty. That is his beauty. Richness. Lakshmi Sahasrashada Sambrama Sevyamanam. Thousands of Lakshmis, goddess of fortune, are serving Lord. And famous, even after 5,000 years, Bhagavad Gita was spoken 5,000 years ago. Even after that, we are still speaking about Krishna and his pastimes. Why? He's so famous. Strength. At the age of 7, Krishna lifted Govardhan hill with his left hand, right? The small finger. How is it possible? The strength. Knowledge. Vedanta Krit Veda Videva Chaham. He says he's the provider of all the Vedas. From where the knowledge came. Renunciation. He's not attached to anything. The Lord doesn't have to do any work, but still he's doing for our pleasure, for the devotees' pleasure. And the Lord is completely detached, right? So all these 6 opulences make Bhagavan, or the Supreme Lord. Now, what was the quality of a guru? We saw in the first chapter. Anyone remembers? You can raise your hand and the co-host will unmute. What was the quality which Krishna was telling that a perfect guru should be like this? Anyone knows? Yes, patience was there. Yes, Ashita Mataji. Patience was there because Krishna was patient. Then,
Good listener.
Very good. Good listener. Very good. So that is the answer. Good listener. Because we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, and a guru should be always listening. So Krishna never advised Arjuna till now, right? He was listening. But on the first chapter, 25th sloka, he just speaks one word. Arjuna, look at who have come to fight. That's it. But now he starts advising. Okay, so you can see here, Shri Bhagavanu Vaja, it is said Bhagavan, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Kutastva kashmalam idam vishame samupastitam anarya jashtam ashwaryam akirti karam Arjuna. My dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets but to infamy. Now Krishna is saying, Arjuna, you are the best among Kshatriyas. Dronacharya also see. You know that story, when Arjuna wanted to shoot the bird, Arjuna could see only the eyes of the bird. We know how great Kshatriya he is. Can he have these lamentation? Do you think Arjuna can have these lamentation? No, that was Krishna's special arrangement. That's why it's a Yogamaya covering. Why? Because if Arjuna did not lament and have these 5 reasons, where is the Bhagavad Gita? Arjuna will come, fight, and then kill all the Kauravas. That's it, end of the story. And Arjuna wins, the Pandavas win. Where is the time or where is the opportunity for Krishna to speak Bhagavad Gita? So in order for Krishna to speak Bhagavad Gita, he made Arjuna have these kind of lamentations. Arjuna is a Kshatriya. He's an eternal associate of the Lord. He knows everything. He's Vishaka Saki. He knows. But still, it's Krishna's special arrangement. So sometimes when bad things happen to us, we should know this is God's plan. God has a better plan for you, or better things to come. So it's a plan. Might be initially it is difficult and there is a lot of difficulties you have to go through. But when you turn back and see in your life, Krishna have done everything for your good. So, right, many have realized it because that's a purpose. Krishna does everything for a purpose. Sarva Karana Karanam. He's the cause of all cause. And he's a supreme loving father. He never do anything bad to us. It's us who are the cause for suffering and enjoyment. We'll see in the later chapter. So now Arjuna surrenders to Krishna. We saw in the first chapter, his mouth were drying and his hairs were standing on end, and he was like, don't know what to do. He was lamenting. So when we are also in problem, instead of taking a wrong decision, go to our seniors, go to our senior devotees or some mentors and parents and relatives, friends who are really good at counseling us, and they gives you a nice decision. So this is another chapter. The first lesson we learned is in Bhagavad Gita that it's a life manual. Okay. The second thing we learned is we need to surrender to a superior person, right? And then whatever things are happening, it's all Lord's special arrangement. So here in the 7th sloka, now what happens? Arjuna surrenders to Krishna. Okay. So Arjuna started surrendering to Krishna. Yes, Barka, can you chant the sloka?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Karpanya doshopahata svabhava prachami tam dharma sammoda cheta yacheyasam nishtitam bruhi tanme shishyate hamsati mam tam prabannam.
Yes, so here now what is Arjuna doing? He is surrendering. Okay, so all these problems are there with me, Krishna. Please, shishyaste ham shadimam tvam prabhamnam. Let me become your shishya, disciple. And Krishna accepts. Till now they were friends, Sakhyaras, but now it's going to a Dasyaras or a disciple and a guru relation. Now I'm confused about my duty, O Krishna, having lost all composure because of miserly weakness. Okay, Hridaya Daurbalyam. In this condition, I'm asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me, Shreyas. And now I'm your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. So Bhagavad Gita is nothing but instructions of the Lord. Bhagavad Gita is actually an instruction by the Lord, because the Lord, that's why I'm telling you, all of you, please order it, because when you keep reading it, you know how much it has in it. I mean, the purports, when you read the purports, you go deeper and deeper into it, because it is as it is from the Lord. So it gives you a lot of life lessons, instructions by the Lord. Okay, now he surrendered. Unless you surrender, we can't learn anything, right? So you should have that surrendering mentality. So that's how Arjuna surrendered, right? Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava prichami tvam dharma sammoda cheta yashreyasya nishitam brohitan me shishyaste ham shadi mam tvam prapannam. So he became his shishya, okay, the disciple. And now Tam uvaja hrishikesha prahasan iva bharata senayorupayormadhye vidhi visidhandam idam vacha. O descendant of Bharata, at that time Krishna, smiling in the midst of both armies, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna. Krishna was smiling because there's no need of lamenting. Krishna had all the answers with him. Shri Bhagavan uvaja ashocyan anvashochaswam prajnavatam shabhashase gadasun agadasumsya nanushojanti panditaha. So many have taken Ekadashi today. I forgot to ask. Can you raise your hands? Those who have taken Ekadashi in the class digitally, raise your hands. Nisha Mataji, very good. Venkat Prabhu, Dhyana Mataji, Hina, Archana, Alangsha, Neha, wow, Amisha, Kusumlata, Achyuta, Vivek, Shubhodaya Shetty, Anirudh, Jai Krishnan, Uma Shiva. Everyone took. Oh, very nice. Hari bol. Very good. You'll all get special blessings, huh? Don't worry. So yeah, so you are doing this for the Lord and for His pleasure, and you get His special mercy on such days. Okay, so now what is Krishna saying here? The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, while speaking learned words, you're mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. See, why do you think so? Why should we not lament for the dead? Or why not? Or that part you leave, because we learn about all that late in the second chapter later. But why we should not lament for the living? Both you can say, not for the dead and for living. Why should not we lament? Why? Yeah. So
Hare Krishna, ma'am.
yes.
Ma'am, we should not lament for the body which is either living or dead, because within the body is encased the immortal soul,
Yes,
which cannot be destroyed.
Okay. So that is the immortal soul which Prabhu is telling. That is for the dead. Okay. So we'll say, we know, we learn that we are not this body, we are spirit soul. So no need of lamenting for the dead. What about living? We know when a living person, see, you can see here, he doesn't have a leg. That means what? That's because of his past sinful karma. Purva janma kritam papam vyadhi rupena jayate. When you do sin in a previous life, all these disease. See, there are 5 babies born in the hospital at the same time. Just imagine, okay, in the ICU. They are in the same hospital, same time they were born in the same method. Just imagine normal delivery, they've been born. But these 5 kids have 5 future, in the sense 5 of them, one can be blind, one can be deaf, one can have some disease like cancer, one can. Why the babies are born like that? They just are born, they didn't even do anything in this life. That means they have done some sin in their previous life, right? That's how the Punerjanma concept comes, right? So why? Even why should we lament? Because that is karma coming back. Atma evaham jatunasham na tvam neme janatipa na chaiva na bhavishama sarve vayam ataparam. Never there was a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. So now here Krishna is breaking something called Mayavadism, and also Krishna is speaking something called Mayavadism as well as atheism. So people say, oh, there's no God, God doesn't exist and all that. But here in this statement, Krishna says, never was there a time when Krishna, the Lord, did not exist. That means what? God is always there. He was there before the creation. He's there after the annihilation. Every time he is always there. And he also says, nor in the nor you. So even Arjuna as a soul, he was also there. Not in future shall any of us cease to be. So it also says we are different. We are not one. Mayavadi says we are God and I am God, like that. So they say, and we need to merge with the Lord. No, that is a wrong concept. So here Krishna says that he's been there for long time. Advaitam achyutam anadim ananda rupam adyam purana purusham navayavanam cha. And now this is the first lesson of Bhagavad Gita, that we are not what we think we are. Okay, that means I'll say this is my hand, this is my eyes, this is my ears, but who am I? Who is the real I? Right? When we say someone that if they have a problem, we say I am there with you, huh? I am there, don't worry. And when we say I am there, we put a hand over the chest area, like, and we say I am there. We don't say I am there like that. We say like this. Why? Because the real I is inside inside us or inside the heart. We'll see who that is. The material body, what you see now, okay, made up of blood, flesh, and bones and all, that is made up of 5 bhutas, panchabhutas. That is earth, water, fire, air, ether. These are the 5 panchabhutas. Now that's a material body that can be destroyed, but the real self is the soul. We are not this body, we are spirit soul. Okay, now Krishna keeps explaining. See, we know living and non-living things, right? Maybe living things like people, animals, plants, they grow, they have consciousness, right? What about non-living things? No, they don't. So what is the difference? What is that difference which is there between these two? It's the soul. So because of corona, so many people, the soul is leaving the body, so many things are happening, but people get depressed sometimes. Why? Because they are not knowing this concept of soul. They think they are this body, right? But the soul thing is forgotten. So first lesson of Bhagavad Gita is that we are not this body, like a car and a driver. Okay, so we are driving the car. So the external car, the external thing is the body, but inside there's a real driver, no, real soul which pulls us. And where is the soul situated? In the heart. It's in the heart. And then we can't see the soul because the size of the soul given is Keshagra, that is 1 by 10,000, the tip of the hair. You take one hair and you just try to cut it into 10,000 pieces. 1 by 10,000 is the size. So it's like a bird in the cage. Okay, what will happen if I just keep on cleaning the cage and not feeding the bird? Vedant Shah, Prabhu, what do you think will happen to the bird? I'll be just cleaning the cage, okay, polishing it and all. Yes, Sai Priya, what will happen to the bird?
Will die. The bird will die.
Yeah, it will die, right? Because I'm not feeding the bird, right? So like this, we are just polishing the cage and making it shine, and might be made up of gold or silver and diamonds. Still, whatever comfort you give to the bird, if you don't feed the bird or feed food to the bird, what happens? It dies. Same way, if you're forgetting your soul, if your soul is forgotten, then what will happen? Your soul also will become weak and weak. It will not die. The soul never dies, and soul never takes birth. Okay, it is sanatan, I mean, it is eternal. Okay, Satchidananda, it is the quality, it's same. Okay, but then it becomes weak and weak and weak, and we forget why we are here. Like, did you all think, who am I? Like, why am I born like this? Or why all bad things are happening to good people? Why to me always? I've not done any sin in this life, but still problems keep coming to me. Why? So these questions, adhado brahma jitnyasa, this jivasya tattva jitnyasa, this should be our main questions. Okay, this is Vedanta Sutra says that a human being, see, animals, I can't call some cats and dogs and explain Bhagavad Gita. No, they don't understand. They sleep off. They don't have intelligence, and they have intelligence. You've seen a cat coming and drinking milk, very tiptoed. Yes, they have, but they don't have a dharma. Okay, but we have dharma. And what is our dharma? Savai pumsa paro dharmo yedo bhaktir adokshache ahaituki apradihata yayatma suprasidati. So what is so when you go to a market, you buy sugar. The sugar is sweet. When you buy chili powder, it is hot or it is spicy, right? The salt is salty. Why? That's the dharma. If the sugar doesn't taste sweet, then it's not sugar, right? So same way, a human being has a dharma, which is to the soul. We have something called mantra meditation. Tomorrow we'll learn. But we should not forget the soul. We think we are this body. We put a lot of makeup. We clean our body and keep. But what happens to so-called death? What happens when the death comes? Everyone has to leave. Mrityu sarva harasyaham. Everyone has to go, right? Everyone has to leave everything and go. Yes, Barka? There's an important sloka in this chapter. She's not
Hare
there.
Krishna Mataji. Dehinosmin yada dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tada dehantara praptir dhiras tatra namohyati.
What is it saying? That so the body is the soul is seeing the body undergoing different changes. Okay, how? Kaumaram yauvanam jara, that is, see, when I'm born, I had a small baby body. As I'm started crawling and growing, the body changes. What about the soul? The soul doesn't change. So it becomes boyhood to old age, to adulthood to old age, right? Jara. And then tada dehandara prapti. So at the time of death, what happens is the soul leaves that body and goes to another body. Dehandara prapti, called transmigration of soul. Dheras tatra namohyadi. One who knows this is not bewildered. So this is how you can see the picture here. A baby is born here from the womb of his mother. We all were like this. Small kids start crawling and then start playing and going to school and then to college, then work. And then slowly we degrade. Disease comes to everyone. Death comes to everyone. Old age comes to everyone. Birth, death, old age and disease. Janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, dukkha, doshanudarshanam. These birth, death, old age and disease is common for everyone. Can anyone prevent all these? No. It is there. That the body is like that. This a body made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether has to perish one day, right? But see the soul here, you can see in the heart, you can see the white glow there. That's the same, right? The soul who was there when I was born, and even now it's the same. So that's the real me. But then what happens at the time of death? You can see here this old man. What happens? He takes another birth, rebirth. The soul is going to another body. So why are you, Arjuna, lamenting in killing all your cousins? No, you're not killing them. You're destroying the body, but the soul is not destroyed. It can never be destroyed. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, Kaumaram, Yavaram, Jara, the soul similarly passes into another body at the time of death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change, right? So this is how you can see here the Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi keeps on happening, right? So at the time of death, the soul goes to another body. That's it. So see, I'll tell you a life cycle, how it is, right? This is how our life cycle is. Now, an example I'll give is, see, when I was in a LKG, QKG and all, I have a tricycle like this. Okay, I'll be driving. And then as I grow, I'll get a two bicycle and then a two-wheeler. Might be later on I'm using a car. Okay, but who's driving? Me, right? But of different age group, might be. But then the vehicle is changing outside, but I am the same. The driver is the same way our soul is the same. Our body might keep changing, white hairs and growth and changes, but the soul is the same. And when this car is broken down, just imagine I had an accident or something and the car is completely not of use anymore. Then what I'll do? I'll book a new car and I'll just happily drive that car, right? For that, should I be more worried? Okay, little bit I'll be worried, oh, my car is gone. But I have an option, right? I can always buy a new car and just go. Same way, at the time of death, when old age comes and this body is not to be used anymore, or when the lifespan ends, or when the karma in this body is end, the soul has to leave the body. And where does it go? It doesn't just roam around. It's not like only one janma or seven janmas. No, it goes to another body, right? But how long? 84 lakh species of life. Jalaja navalakshani. Then it says Chadurlakshani Manava. In the aquatic form, there are, you can see here, aquatic form, there are 84 lakhs, 9 lakhs in aquatics. Human, there are 4 lakh species. So like that, total, there are 84 lakh species, including plants. So my soul was a tortoise in some Janma. My soul was in a dolphin's body. My soul was in a monkey's body, a tiger's body. My soul was in a tree. So finally, I got this rare human form of body, which is very rare. Prahlad Maharaj says in 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Kaumara Acharat Pratnyo. Why? Durlabham Manava Jamam. It's very rare to get this human form of life. Don't waste it. Just like animals, eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. Aharam, Nidra, Maya, Bayam, Maidunancha. Animals also sleep. We also sleep. Animals also eat. We also eat. What is that difference that makes us? Then we are also two-legged animal. That's what Prabhupada says. We are polished animals. No, don't become like that. We have a dharma. We need to understand who we are and search about what we are and what should we do to end the cycle of birth, death, and old age and disease, right? So I'm not scaring anyone, but this is what Krishna speaks in the second chapter of Srimad Bhagavad-Gita, that you are not this body. You are spirit soul. The body might change. There's birth and teenager and old age and disease and death. It might come, but then the soul is never destroyed. And Krishna says, why are you worried? Matra sparshasta kaunteya shridoshna sugadukkada agama paino anityas Tamsti dikshvasa bharata. So as happiness and distress, no, it comes and goes like summer and winter. You can see in summer what happens, all the leaves falls down, and winter it's fresh again. Like that, happiness and distress keeps coming and going. It's like same different side of the same coin. You toss, it can fall. So, O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress, their disappearance in due course are like appearance and disappearance of winter and summer season. They arise from sense perception, or sign of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. Okay, like this. So a tree is always tolerant. Okay, so happiness and distress keeps coming. Why are you worried? Okay, so this is what now Krishna speaks about, something about the soul. Na jayate mriyate va katishin nayam bhutva pavitavana bhuya ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire na hanyate hanyamane sharire. The soul is never born or death at any time. It is unborn, eternal, ever existing. So why are we lamenting? Okay, yes, it's not like we don't have emotions. We all have, human beings, we have emotions. It's not like we should not cry for them when they leave us. Yes, definitely that emotional bondage is there. But Krishna says that don't be upset and don't be depressed, because some people go into shock, some people go to depression, right, when their dear and near ones leave them. But Krishna says, come out of it. Okay, come out of it. You have to have a normal life after that. Why? Because if you know that soul, who that even the, you can see a young age also people leave, and might be some accident or something. Now corona, there was always problems, right? Tsunami and whatnot we had. Always there is problem. This is dukhalema shashwatam. This material world is full of miseries. That's true. But then we didn't realize it. We thought we are always happy. But then problems keep coming. So Krishna says, never get upset with this. Matra sparshastakam. It just keeps going. Happiness and distress. And the soul is never born or death. So when you say happy birthday, it's for this body. It's not the soul. Because soul is eternal, it's always there. Sat Chit Ananda. Sat means eternal, Chit full of knowledge and bliss. Okay. Now, as you change the clothes, yes, Barka, can you chant?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Vashamsi jinnani yada vihaya navani grinati naro parani tata sharirani vihaya jinnanya anyani samyadi navani dehi.
Yeah. So what is saying? Vasamsi jirnani. So just imagine your clothes are all dirty. Okay. Or you go to office and you come back, it's like full of sweat and you need to change. What do? You take bath and you change the dress. Do you sit and cry, oh, I have to change my dress, I have to change my dress? No. Same way, this body is like a dress. Krishna says, as a person put on new garments, giving up older ones, the soul similarly accepts new bodies, giving up old and useless ones. That's it. So that's why Krishna is first of all making the concept of death very simple for us. Many people have this fear of death, right? They are so fearful, and everyone has this fear of death. Why? Because they don't know the concept called soul. They think they are this body. So Prabhupada says the example of a train. Okay, we have different compartments. Imagine I am in might be first class, second class, third AC, 3 tier, all that. Okay, I decorated my berth and with everything, all decorations done. But when my destination come, I have to get down. I has to, whatever comfort I made, whatever bookings I've done, I have to leave everything and go. So same way, we might think we are this body or everything belongs to me and I am this. No, we are soul actually. So what is the dharma of the soul? That also we should know. So Krishna first of all tells Arjuna, he had 5 reasons to lament. One was compassion, right? All that family traditions, no enjoyment. Now Krishna is breaking all that. Don't worry, because we are spirit soul, not this body. And he says the property of the soul. Nainam chindati shastrani, nainam dahati pavaka, na chainam kledayantyapo, na shoshayati maruta. So a soul can never be cut into pieces by any weapon, nor moistened by water, or withered by wind. So these are the properties of the soul. That means you cannot cut the soul with any weapon. Now that was Arjuna's another question, right? Oh, I have to kill them. So which was Arjuna's bow? What was Arjuna's bow called, Sakshi Mataji? Yesterday we learned Arjuna's bow.
Gandiva, ma'am. Sahare Krishna.
Gandiva. Yes, Gandiva, right? Given by Varun Dev. I'm getting nice answers in the chat. Yes, Gandiva. So with that Gandiva, he can't hurt any of his cousins. Why? Because they are the spirit soul, and the soul cannot be cut with any weapon, nor burnt by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by wind. So these are the properties of the soul. So there's a nice story in Bhagavatam, 6th canto, about Chithrakethu Maharaj. So what happened? There's a puppet show about Chithrakethu Maharaj. We'll share in the WhatsApp group later. It's a very nice. Actually, Chithrakethu Maharaj didn't have a son. He was lamenting for years and years and years to have a son, because the kings, they should have a son to give off the throne, right? He had many wives, but nobody could give him a son. And finally, he was lamenting. He want a son. Finally, Angira Muni is like, okay, you will have a son, but then the son will be the cause of your problems. And he's like, it's okay. Children are very mischievous. I mean, they're naughty. There might be problems. That's okay. And then what happened? He got a son, and his name was Harsha Shokan. Harsha means happiness, Shoka means sad. So yes, finally he had a son. And then he had the son in the first wife. What about all the other wives? They became so jealous, because the king was always with the first wife, always with the kid, and they felt like they'll be abandoned. They won't be in the kingdom anymore. So what did they do? They had a conspiracy. They had a plan. They gave poison. They decided to give poison to the baby. Just imagine, so much of jealousy and so much of hatred in them, that they took the life of the baby, like by giving poison. And the king could not bear the suffering, and how after a long time he got a son, only son, and he was lost. But then Angira Muni came with Narad Muni. Narad Muni, he's a pure devotee of the Lord. He came and brought the child back to life. He called the soul back, and the child spoke. Why did you call me back? It's time for me to leave. And Narad Muni is like, no, wait. See, your father, he wants to tell you something. My father? Which father? In which life he was my father? And then Chithrakethu Maharaj realized, oh, this is just temporary life. I'm not this body ever, right? I'm not Chithrakethu anymore. I'm that soul. Then he started doing his real dharma. Okay, so first we should know that we are not this body. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityur dhruvam janma mridasya cha tasmat abariharyarte natvam shochitam arhasi. One who has taken his birth is sure to die. And after death, one is sure to take birth again, unless they are liberated. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament, Arjuna. Why are you lamenting? Why are you thinking you're going to kill all these people? No, that is normal. Death has to come. That's a normal process, right? Why don't we take it as a normal process, the death? Punarabhijananam, punarabhimaranam, punarabhijagati jananishayanam. So this rebirth keeps happening every time. Okay, but you should not lament. So all created beings are unmanifest in their beginning, manifest in their interim state, and unmanifest again when annihilated. So what need is there for lamentation? Dehi nityam avadyoyam dehe sarvasya bharata tasmat sarvani bhudani natam shochitam arhasi. So soul who dwell in the body can never be slain. Therefore, there is no need for lamentation. So for Arjuna had 5 reasons for lamenting. Krishna is like, no need, because the reasons he's telling. Hato va prapsyasi swargam jetva va bokshyase mahim tasmat uddishta kaunteya yuddhaya krita nishya. Now there are two things what happens. Okay, so 2 things can happen. Either if Arjuna fight, either he wins or he lose. Okay, if Arjuna wins, what will happen? They'll get the kingdom, Hastinapur, right? Yudhishthira Maharaj, they all will get it. So that is also good. He can enjoy the kingdom. What if Arjuna lose? He dies. And where does he go? To heavenly planets, because they are all pious people. They are punyatmas. They have done punya. So in heaven also you can enjoy. So that was Arjuna's next question. No, how can I enjoy? O son of Kunti, either you will be killed in the battlefield and attain heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up with determination and fight. Now, why is Krishna doing all this? To make Arjuna fight. So this is what Krishna is saying. See, Arjuna, either you lose. Okay, that means there is 2 things can happen. Either you lose or win. There's no 50-50, right? So what happens? If he lose, what happens? The Pandavas will go to heaven because they have done punya. and whoever does punya, they go to heaven and enjoy there, right? And if you win, then you become the king. I mean, you get the kingdom, right? So why are you not fighting? You should fight. It's your kshatriya, it's your dharma to fight. And if you don't fight, your enemies will say so many unkind words to you and scorn your ability, and that will be more painful to you. They'll say, oh, Arjuna is a darpok, see, he's hiding behind Krishna, he's not fighting. And if Arjuna doesn't fight, what will happen? All the people who have come to support Arjuna, they will also die. I mean, they will also not fight. Who are they called? There was 9 reasons why Arjuna won. This was one of the reasons. Who are those people who was ready to help Arjuna, called as? I mean, this is one of the reason why Arjuna won. Anyone remember? There's a specific word I told, that they are ready to give their life for Arjuna. Like I gave the example of the soldiers. I'm getting nice in the chat. Sindhu Mataji. Yes, Ausika. Please raise your hands. I want to unmute someone and hear. Yes, Ritu Mataji. What was that called? Nandini Mataji. You're not able to unmute? Yes.
Dharmakshetra, divine chariot.
No. I'm asking that why? Who are they called? Though they are ready to give their life. Harshita Mataji.
Tyakta Jivita.
Very good. So I was asking for not the 9 reasons. I was asking for those. Yes, all have given the answer. Tyakta Jivita. They were ready to give their life, right? So if they are there and if they see Arjuna running off, not fighting, and all the Gandivan all kept there and sweating, what will they think? So that's not the way he should do, right? And now Krishna says, Neha Pikramanasosti Pratyavayona Vidyade Salpam Ambhyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahadopayat. So don't worry. In this endeavor, there is no loss or no gain, no loss. Always gain. Any little advancement you make in this path can give you perfect from all type of dangerous type of fear. So in this endeavor, there is no loss. And a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. So don't think that you're wasting your time by listening to Bhagavad-Gita 1 hour every day. No, it's never a loss. Never. Krishna says, in this path, whatever you try to do, know about the soul, about self-realization. This is called self-realization, to realize who I am, who the real I am, right? So I remember when my grandmother passed away, I was like small. And then I was like told my grandmother passed away. And I was like, my grandmother is gone. I'm like, gone? Where? She's there. I could see her body lying and I was like, she's there. She didn't go anywhere. She's there. But then I was thinking, yeah, what is that? Then who was my grandmother? That's not, if she was not this body, then who was that? The Atma. We have been hearing about Atma for a long time, right? We know Atma. We know that is Jivatma or the soul. Then there's Paramatma or the super soul. That's the Lord. But we don't know more about Atma. What should we do if we know we are the Atma? What is the dharma of the Atma, right? If we know we are a student of a particular college, we know our duty, what should we do, assignments and everything. The same way, the soul has also some kind of duty to do. So this is the duty which the soul has to do, which is the devotional life, some kind of a spiritual life. So anyone know this elephant, who this is? It's in Bhagavatam. But then a little bit you'll be knowing something about that elephant. Archana Mataji?
Gajendra.
Very nice. Gajendra. Yes. So Gajendra was bitten by a crocodile. You can see here when he was in a pond. And then he was crying for 1,000 years. He fought. Finally, he took a flower, a lotus, and gave to the Lord and did prayer called Gajendra Stuti. Namo Namaste Akhila Karanaya Nishkaranaya Adbhuta Karanaya. Very beautiful song prayer he did. And then the Lord came. So he just gave a flower and the Lord came. A rat was behind a cherry and then he wanted to eat something. Finally, he saw a lamp which was glowing in the temple and he went and ate it. So the lamp, that fire was on his mouth and he did like this and he died in front of the deity. So he was like kind of doing arti and the Lord took it as a service and he could moksha. You know the story of a small, this one, squirrel and Lord Ram? Anyone knows what happened? How did the squirrel help Lord Ram? You would have heard the story. It comes in some kind of moral story for kids and all. Yes, Kusum.
Yes, Mataji.
No.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Actually, when Hanuman and other people were throwing big stones in the sea, the squirrel was throwing pebbles into the sea, and
Yes, so it was throwing small pebbles, and then Hanuman took the squirrel and just threw him, right? And then Lord Ram is like, no, let him also serve. He is doing what he can. You are doing what you can. So same way, these kids are memorizing slokas. They are chanting. Don't think, oh, I can't learn all this at this age. No, whatever service you can, you do. You listen to Bhagavad Gita. You try to read Bhagavad Gita, chant. Whatever you possible you do, Lord is always pleased, right? So, and when Hanuman's tail was on fire, he burned the whole Lanka. So that's the service he did. So in the mind of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment, material opulences, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service of the Lord does not take place. So if we want to serve the Lord, all these things in our mind should just go away. So you can see here. So then we can focus on our devotional life or spiritual life. If we are spirit soul, we should have a spiritual life and we should balance always. Traigunya vishaye vayata nishtraigunya bhavarjuna nirdvanto nitya sattvasto niryogyo kshema atmavan. The Vedas deal mainly with the subject of three modes of material nature. O Arjuna, become transcendental to these three modes. Be free from all dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. So what is Krishna saying? Now there are three modes of material nature. Okay, so three modes. So that we will see in the 14th chapter. What are the three modes? Sattva, Rajas, Tamo, Guna. Now Krishna says, Arjuna, don't get influenced by these three modes. Just be free from all these dualities of anxiety and all this, and just be calm and do your duty. So all purpose served by a small well can at once be served by great reservoir of water. Similarly, all purpose of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind it. So what is the purpose of studying Vedas? Vedaisha sarvam ahameva vedyam. Krishna says in the 15th chapter, 15th sloka. Which is the sloka, Barka?
Sarvasya chaham riti sannivishto matta smiritnanam apohanam cha vedaishcha sarve rahameva vedyo vedanta kritveda videva chaham.
Very nice. So it says Krishna is the purpose of studying the Vedas is to know the Lord. Okay, so these are all kids from my class. I mean, they were attending my kids Bhagavad Gita class before, and they are all become so smart now. They know a lot of slokas and all. They're nice. So yes. Thank you. So many are putting in the chat. This child is very inspiring. Yes, she is. And we all can learn. So don't worry. So slokas are not different from Krishna. It's Krishna himself. So you all would have attended the 700 sloka chanting today on Ekadashi. Every Ekadashi it happens in ISKCON Mangalore from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. It's nice to hear the slokas because it's been chanted from the lotus mouth of Krishna. Ya swayam patmanapasya muga patma vinesrita. Gita Mahatmyam says. So the purpose of studying the Vedas, when Chaturvedis came to Prabhupada to argue, Prabhupada is like, why did you waste all these years in studying? Because you don't know the purpose of the Vedas. So we are missing the point. The purpose of the Vedas is to study the absolute truth. So this is what Krishna says. Now you have right to perform your prescribed duty, but they are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities. Never be attached to not doing your duty. So Krishna says you should always do your duty. Mama nusmara yudhyaja. Do your duty. At the same time, think about Krishna. And then you can see, we are like puppets in someone's hand. The sattva, rajas, tamoguna you can see here. So we are like a puppet in their hand, and then we dance accordingly. So this is all we learn in later on chapters, right? So now Krishna says you perform your duty. Okay, we should all do that. We perform our duty equipoised, abandoning all attachment to success and failure. Don't think, oh, will it be success or failure? Just do your karma. Do your best, God will do the rest. Such equanimity is called yoga. So yoga is actually connecting to the Supreme. Dukkeshu anudvigna mana sukeshu vigata spruha vidaraga bhayakrodha stita dhirmuniruchyate. So there's something called Sthita Dhirmuni, one who's always in the higher consciousness, Krishna consciousness, one who's not disturbed in the mind, even amidst the threefold miseries are related when there is happiness, and who's free from attachment, fear, and anger is called a sage of steady mind. Okay, so a person who should have a steady mind. It's also a quiz question. So you should have what will be they'll be free from attachments, fear, and anger. ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसा संकस्तेषु भजायते संगा संजायते कामा कामत् क्रोधाभिजायते. Now there are 8 steps for the fall down in the material pool. Okay, in the material world, what happens? First, there is a kind of contemplating for objects. Okay, and then we become attached to that, like a phone. I need a phone, so I just plan how to buy, and I'll be so attached that desire develops, right? And from attachment there is lust. Okay, and then lust, and when I don't get the phone, I become angry. Krodhat bhavati sammoha sammoha smriti vibrama smriti bramshat bhundinasho buddhinashat pranashyati. And then what happens? Anger. So first is contemplating the object, then you have some kind of attachment, then what happens? The desire to have it, and then lust, and then if the lust doesn't work, then we have krodha or anger. But when krodha or anger happens, what happens? There is complete delusion, and delusion, there is bewilderment of memory, and the memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost, and when intelligence is lost, one fall down again into this material world. So these are the 8 steps. Can you see here? So our mind has thinking, willing, and feeling stage, and these are the 8 things. First is contemplating on the object. This is also a quiz question. What are the 8 steps? Okay, contemplating on objects. Then you have attachment, which leads to lust, and from lust there is anger, delusion, bewilderment, loss of intelligence, buddhi nasha, right? Pranashyati, and fall down into gross material existence. So these are the 8 stages which we all have to overcome. Ragatveshe vimuktastu vishayan indriyascharan Atmavashir Vedeyatma Prasadam Atigachati. But a person free from all attachment and aversion, able to control his sense through regulative principles of freedom, can obtain complete mercy of the Lord. So, controlling the sense. What we are doing today, Ekadashi, you're doing Ekadashi today, right? So, did anyone take Ekadashi for the first time after yesterday's class? First time. Oh, yes, there are people. Very nice. Alangsha, Pragati, Mataji, Ranjit Prabhu. Oh, very nice. There are people who have taken actually. Anirudh, Ashita. Very good. So you're taking for the first time? Hari Bol. Thank you so much. Yes, you'll get special mercy. First time you're taking, and very nice. So the complete mercy of the Lord, okay, will come to the person who's actually determined. And you're doing for the Lord. And what are we planning actually? We are trying to control the sense. So when you open the fridge, you might see some rice, dal, and all some things you want to feel like eating, but then you're controlling. You're taking fruits and roots today and milk, and you're controlling, doing upavas for the Lord, right? It's kind of a purification also. It also helps your body to detoxify. So it's also a double bonus, right? So, and please don't forget to break your fast correct time. Please see in the Google. There are different places have different timing, but normally it's 6 to 10 a.m. But then to be safe, 7 to 9 a.m. you should break it with some kind of grains. Although the vast ocean is always filled with water, it's always, especially during the rainy season, being filled with much more water. But the ocean remains the same steady. It's not agitated, nor does it cross beyond the limit of its brink. So that is also true of a person fixed in Krishna consciousness. So a person knows, right, that yes, so whatever happens should be equipoised, right? Happiness and distress keep coming. So when Krishna says matra sparshastu kaundeya shidoshna sukha, okay, now I'm sad, later on I'll get happiness. It just keeps coming and going, right? Like an ocean is never disturbed. So Prabhupada was like that. When he was building, this is Radha Ras Bihari of Juhu, there are a lot of problems. There's someone called Mr. N. So you can see, read Leelamrita, very nice book about Srila Prabhupada's biography, how he established ISKCON and all that. So in that, when he had a person called Kamsa. So Prabhupada used to call him Kamsa because Kamsa always used to send some kind of demons to Vrindavan to disturb Krishna's pastime. Similarly, this Mr. N used to send some kind of gundas and all to destroy the temple, but then nothing happened because Prabhupada had so much confidence in Krishna, and he promised them that Radha Ras Bihari, I'll give you a temple. And that's how the famous Juhu temple, many of you would have gone, the ISKCON Juhu temple, that's Prabhupada's office. So that was built because he had complete faith in the Lord. So this is a takeaway message from the second chapter, is that we are not this body. And who are we? We are spirit soul. The soul is situated in the heart, and we can't see the soul because it's 1 by 10,000, the tip of the hair. Then what happens after death? Hemant Kubar Prabhu, what happens to in so-called death? Anyone can answer? Yes, Prabhu.
We will go to another body. The soul goes to the
soul goes to another body, right? Yes. So how many times it has gone like that?
countless.
No, there is a count. I told you some count. There was a count, I told you.
Yeah.
It's not countless. The Shastra says about a particular count. Can anyone put in the chat? Yes, yes, all are right.
88 lakh species are there, so maybe
84 lakh.
84. You're almost right. Okay, 84 lakh species. Correct. So 84 lakh species are there. That means my soul had gone through all these at least once. Not once or twice. It had gone through these, because then only I can get to that evolve, and that comes to a human form of life. So yes, 84 lakh species of life. So much life. And then so many times we are born, so many times we are dead. Still we are like in that cycle of birth and death again, right? We are always struggling. So this is what we are into now. So yeah, so this is the birth death cycle that's always happening. So we are spirit soul, and the soul is situated in the heart. We can't see the soul. And what's the size of the soul? It's just 1 by 10,000, the tip of the hair. Okay, so this is how so small the soul is, and we can't see the soul. But people have a lot of doubts, right? Why we can't see the soul? And that is because we are not qualified. Okay, not qualified. And so we learned dehinosmin yada dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara tada dehandara praptir dhiras tatra namohyati. So that we learned dehinosmin yada dehe. And then what we learned? So after that, we learned that yes, there is dehandara prapti, there is transmigration of soul. So soul get transmigrated, and once it is transmigrated, what happens is again taken rebirth again and again, right? So yes. So Kartika Mataji, Hare Krishna, I've sent another video. Can you just play that one, the second one which I sent? Where are you? After the class, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, second one, huh? Okay, so Hare Krishna. So yes, so this is how the birth and death happens. So what happens? Okay, so we are pushed into the mother's womb based on our karma, right? So if you have done if you are educated, if you have a lot of money, if you are in a good family, if you are so handsome or beautiful, that means what? You have done some punya in your previous life. But if you have got some disease is there for everyone, but severity of the disease, like some kind of a cancer and all, and then if we have done not much educated, we are ugly, and we are not born in a good family, that means it's a sin coming back. But it's okay. See, that is all done in the previous life now. But this life, if we surrender to the Lord and start our spiritual life, neha bikramanasosti pratyavayona vidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahatopayat. A small thing we do in the service. So all of you are so fortunate that you came to know about Bhagavad-Gita, came to know about Prabhupada and Krishna. So it's been a long lifetime. You've been doing a lot of punyas. Otherwise, it's not easy to know about the Lord. So it's Lord's mercy. what's happening coming through the parampara. So this is the first lesson which Krishna says about the spirit soul. So we should have a spiritual life, and that I will talk to you about it later on. Okay, so now can you all unmute, and we'll just say Hare Krishna once. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare Krishna. So